Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. This is me, Max. Now you're listening to the Edge with Scott Hudson.
Yeah. Scott.
Stop, Scott.
This Saturday night, will I see you around? I'm counting the lights. Jeannie took a long, long time to say where she was coming from. I see you take the long way around. Hey, I've only come this far. Now nothing can change you. When you feel forward to love, your world has a strange feel. Can you tell me things that you're dreaming of? Stop falling in love with everything that lets you down. There's someone above that knows she wears glasses. Sometimes I seem to help her mood. I see her on the long ride home, but I guess I never spoke too soon. Now nothing can change you when you feel forward to love. Your world has a strange feel. Can you tell me things that you're dreaming of? You don't wanna get left behind. You wanna find some peace of mind. They say it takes a long time when you see her there. She was in the crowd. We're rolling along when everybody wants to ride. Now Joe's never home. He met them at the table side, but everything has changed, so we all know that you're waking up to die inside. Now there's nowhere left to go. Now nothing can change you when you feel forward to love. Your world has a strange view. And you tell me things that you love. Now nothing can change you when you feel forward to love. Your world has a strange view. And you tell me things that you're dreaming of.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Ledge with Scott Hudson on the Real Punk Radio Network. I'm Scott Hudson, obviously, and tonight, well, I was kind of stuck on what I wanted to do for this week's show. I had a couple ideas. I have a stockpile of a couple themes, and then yesterday, or maybe a couple days ago, I found out that my friends in High on Stress were putting out a single today, and when I went and looked to see what they were putting out, I discovered that they were covering a great Tommy Keene song. So, well, there's the theme. Nothing but covers tonight. And I've got 55 years of covers. A lot of them are new releases. A few of them are things that I've kind of run across in the last few weeks. And you'll understand when I get to them. But yeah, High on Stress, new single, just came out today. Covering Tommy Keene's Nothing Can Change You. That's originally from my second favorite Tommy Keene album, based on Happy Times. My number one favorite is the original EP, Places That Are Gone. But I like pretty much anything Tommy Keene ever put out. So it was recorded at Triple T Studio in Minnesota, mastered by Bruce Templeton at Microphone Master in Minneapolis. You can get this on High on Stress, mpls.bandcamp.com. And while you're at it, pick up all their other records. Their entire catalog is definitely worth having. Up next, I almost forgot that this record came out. You might recall, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, I had discovered a band that did the Replacements' Left of the Dial in kind of an alt-country kind of sound. And I remember that their full album was coming out in May, and so I went and looked, and sure enough it did. The band is called Independent Country. They are from the UK, and their new album, called American Portions, is nothing but indie rock, alternative rock, whatever you want to call it, covers of indie rock and alternative rock done in a country or country-ish style. I think it's pretty clever. So I'm going to do a whole set from that album, and it's kind of funny. There's a couple of these songs you're not going to recognize what they are until maybe they hit the chorus. Then you might catch on. You might not even then, which is why I think this is such an intriguing concept. So let's start off once again with their cover of the Replacements classic, Left of the Dial.
Známé osobnosti vyzvali sa.
Didn't mention your name. They didn't mention your name. The sweet Georgia breezes say cool and warm. I headed up north, you headed north. On and on and on and on and on and on and on. What side are you on? Where are voices laughing on the radio once? We sounded drunk, never made it on. Passing through an enslaved, the station started to fade. We picked another one up. On and on and on and on and on and on and on. On and on and on and on and on and on and on. What side are you on? Where to go? Keep growing up playing. Make up wear a guitar. Never to LA. They didn't mention your name. They didn't mention your name. And if I don't see you in a long, long while, I guess I'll find you. 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 Left in the dial. 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 seen too much to try you. It's always weirdness while you dig it much too much to fry you. The weirdness flows between us. Anyone can tell to see us. Freak scene, I just can't believe us. Why can't I just be cool and free us? So fucked, I just can't believe it. If there's a way, I wish we'd see saw stealing once when I was 5. I enjoy stealing, it's just as simple as that. Well, it's just a simple fact. When I want something and I don't want to pay for it, my girl's want to, she'll go and grab a shirt, stick it under her skirt, she'll grab a razor for me. And she did it just like that. When she wants something and we don't want to pay for it, well, we'll walk right through the door. Walk right through the door. Hey, alright. If I get by, well, it's mine, oh mine, oh mine. Sat around a pile, we sat and laughed, waved it into the air, and we did it just like that. Well, we want something and we don't want to pay for it. Well, we'll walk right through the door. We'll walk right through the door. Hey, alright. If I get by, well, it's mine, oh mine, oh mine. Well, hey, alright. If I get by, well, it's mine, oh mine, oh mine. Well, hey, alright. If I get by, well, it's mine, oh mine, oh
Crazy stuff there by Independent Country. As I said before, the record is called American Portions. Entire record of alternative rock covers. You just heard Been Caught Stealing. Yes, that was a Jane's Addiction song. That was kind of a hard one to figure out. Ahead of that, Last Night, originally a Strokes song. At the end, you kind of got that, I think. Freak Scene by Dinosaur Jr. That was pretty easy to catch and started things off left of the dial. I think any replacement song fan recognized that one. It's a fun record, it really is. I'm glad I found it. Now, if they would only put out a vinyl version, that's all I want. Up next is a band that I discovered I think it was last year, maybe it was the year before. Might have been 2019, and I have to admit, they got a terrible name. They're called Country Westerns. And there was a couple musicians in this band that was part of the Silver Jews, or the David Berman's last band before he died. Kind of have a brain fart all of a sudden. I can't remember it. But anyway, they put out one great record. Now they have a new EP, which is primarily covers. And here's what fatpossum.com has to say. The songs for the Country Westerns EP was recorded in the garage practice space at drummer Brian Katzer's house, a place that has served as home for the Country Westerns since the beginnings. The band's self-titled debut record was released 3 months into the pandemic. Oh, it was last year. And without a release show, tour, or any of the usual fanfare that comes with new tunes, the band set out to stay active by getting together a couple times a week to work on new songs and learn covers for fun. And so over the course of those rehearsals and whatever, they recorded this EP that has one original and then the rest are covers, and I think they're very, very interesting covers. Starting off, this is a Dead Moon track that they recorded called A Miss of You.
I thought I had been changed. Now this time it won't take long.
Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one. I'm gonna be standing on the corner, 12th Street and Vine. Stand on the corner, 12th Street and Vine, with my Kansas City baby and a bottle of Kansas City wine. Well, I might take a train, I might take a plane, but if I have to walk, I'm going just the same. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one. Ah, but you know me now.
Couple tracks there from the latest archive release of Alex Chilton. It's called Boogie Shoes Live on Beale Street, and apparently the story behind this recording, this show, is Chilton was invited to perform this Beale Street Festival in 1999, and they didn't think he would show up, or they didn't think he would agree to it, but he pretty much agreed once he found out that his band for this show was going to be the High Rhythm Section, which is the band that has worked with Al Green, Ann Pebbles, Ike and Tina Turner, Otis Clay, people like that. And so he agreed, but they had no rehearsal, nothing, no prep. In fact, during the show, basically before each song started, Chilton called out each song he wanted to play, and these guys were such professionals that they pretty much just, most of the time they knew the songs, but if they didn't, they figured it out pretty quickly. In fact, the horn section, they were playing songs that didn't originally have horn parts, and so they kind of made it up as they went along. But it's kind of a laid-back, groovy for Alex Chilton kind of show. It was recorded when was it? October 7th, 1999. It was a tribute concert for Memphis musician Fred Ford. And you heard from that a surprising cover of the Supremes there, Where Did Our Love Go? And also Kansas City, the old standard. Country Westerns ahead of that with their new EP of mainly covers. You heard Wall of Death, which is a Richard Thompson track, and A Miss of You, which is a Dead Moon song. Moving on, we're now going into the 60s. If you listen to last week's show, I played a bunch of stuff from the great compilations, which I'm losing my mind here. Back from the Grave. I played some tracks from Back to the Grave that I've been listening to lately, and all of those collections have a handful of covers, or at least a couple covers. And so here are some that I pulled out of the first 4 volumes for this week, starting off with a band called the Swamp Rats, and this is their version of the Sonics classic Psycho.
son, you got a word, please.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, but there ain't no cure for the summertime. Yeah, baby. Yeah, you go. Well, I'm gonna take 2 months for my summertime vacation. Gonna take my problem to the United Nations. And I called my congressman and he said, quote,
Like to help you, son, but you're too young to vote.
sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, but there ain't no cure for the summertime. Yeah, dog. Yeah, you over there, baby. All right, everybody clap your hands loud now, baby. Yeah, you got it. Now I'll give you a little bit of summertime blues, baby. Yeah. Are you ready, darling? All right, then. Come on, baby. On everybody say, summertime, 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 summertime.
Hey, do the hammerlock. I do the hammerlock. Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks. Yeah, do the hammerlock. I do the hammerlock. Everybody's doing it. Do the eye gouge. Yeah, do the eye gouge. Do the eye gouge, you turkey necks. Yeah, do the eye gouge. I do the eye gouge. Everybody's doing it. Okay, you turkey necks. Gather around. Let me show you how to do the crusher. And if you don't learn it now, I'm gonna get you in the ring. Okay, you take your fist, then put it on your waist. And if you don't, you're gonna be a disgrace. Because you squeeze your partner's head, just blue in the face. Do the crusher. Do the crusher. Do the crusher, you turkey necks. Yeah, do the crusher. I do the crusher. Everybody do it now.
Okay, I have to admit, I made an error. I assumed that version of The Crusher by the Novas was a cover, and I know a million bands have covered the song over the years, including the Cramps, but that was actually the original. It's by the Novas. They were a Minneapolis band. Made it all the way up to number 88 on the Billboard charts, and was their only hit. And I gotta say, growing up, I loved The Crusher. The Crusher was part of the AWA, which was the Minneapolis area wrestling promotion with Vern Gagne and Nick Bockwinkel and people like that. But the Crusher, his real name was Reggie Laskowski, originally from Milwaukee. He would come to the ring with a keg of beer on his shoulder, which made me love him that much more. So, yeah. Covers in spirit, I guess you could say. Okay. Before that, the Outsiders doing the old Eddie Cochran song, Summertime Blues. Tyne doing a pretty revved up version of Land of 1000 Dances. And Swamp Rats with the great Psycho, originally by the Sonics. And again, you can find all of those on the first 4 volumes of Back from the Grave. Really, they're all worth having. There's 10 volumes total, although if you buy them on CD, 9 and 10 are together as a volume, if that makes sense. Definitely all worth having. I might have to do another Back from the Grave show one of these days. All right, up next, the Pretty Things are about to put out a box set of their BBC sessions. Now, this is the 3rd version of this to come out. The first one was a 2 CD set in 2003 that was originally called the BBC Sessions. And then in 2015, there was a 4 CD collection called The Pretty Things Live at the BBC. And now there is a 6 CD version under that same title. These are all live recordings from shows like Saturday Club, Top Gear, John Peel's Sunday Concert, Sound of the 70s, etc., etc., etc. And it even includes a couple of more recent shows, relatively speaking, like the Mark Lamar show in 2009. There's a Mark Riley appearance in 2018, which is pretty cool. It's like 120 tracks altogether, and I love the Pretty Things. So I'm going to play a couple of covers from this box set, and you will notice you're going to hear the same song twice in a row by 2 different bands. And we'll talk about that during the next break. So let's start off with the Pretty Things doing Roadrunner.
Roadrunner, honey.
And here come the Pretty Things one more time. Watch out for fireworks from their drummer Viv Prince as they play Roadrunner.
Ah, let me back. Come on out. Get it. Put some dirt in y'all. Yeah, I'm a road running lover, and my Cadillac pin white. All right. Yeah, I'm a road running lover, wanna have that Cadillac pin white. See you in the morning. Oh, not tomorrow. Yeah, I'm a road running lover. Get out there. Have me a road running with it. Gonna have the Cadillac pin white. Oh, I do. Have me a road running with it. Get that Cadillac pin white. See you in the morning. Oh, not tomorrow. He does it.
Route 66, see you.
Chicago to LA.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed to the Pretty Things. Thanks very much indeed for coming. Good night. Bye.
Chicago.
What you just heard was a band called The Dimensions with a 1966 album called From All Dimensions. Last week, I talked about a book that I just finished called The White Label Promo Preservation Society 100 Flop Albums You Ought to Know, and that's how I discovered this album. Here is part of what Mitchell Cohen says about this record. I didn't know a single thing about The Dimensions when I came across their music 3 decades after it snuck out into the world. I found that they were from Chicago and that they made an album in 1966 called From All Dimensions. And honestly, all I needed to know was right there in plain sight. These are the 6 songs inside one of the LP. Carol, Gloria, Little Latin Loopy Lou, High Heeled Sneakers, Route 66, Around and Around. You could not ask for anything more perfect. There was a band like this in every neighborhood, every small town, every high school, in every city in 1966. 5 6-year-old guys who had their lives altered by the Rolling Stones, bought guitars, grew their hair, bought clothes at the local department store that sort of looked like the kind of clothes Brian Jones would wear. And a little bit later, it goes on to say, the Dimensions LP, the Dimensions LP isn't even on a proper label. It's almost a joke that has a catalog number, 1666, as though we're surrounded by a bunch of other albums that were readily available at EJ Corvette, instead of being something that the Dimensions had pressed up. A website called Garage Music says that only 100 copies were manufactured, but that it was actually re-released with a bonus cut on ESA Records in the 80s, or EVA Records in the 80s. The EVA LP will set you back at least $50. I can't begin to imagine what one of these 100 original copies would fetch. Eventually I found out some more stuff. They were from Park Ridge near Chicago. Each member had a nickname, e.g. Tom Happy Tooth Parnell, the bassist, and they played at such clubs as the Hat, the Cellar, and the Deep End. When they made the album, they'd been together for 2 years, and the liner notes say, have finally broken into the competitive world of song with their first album, recorded over their Christmas vacation. I think it's a pretty clever album. Clever is not the right word. Pretty great rock and roll album. You heard Carol, and you also heard Route 66, and you also heard the Pretty Things do Route 66 from their brand new Live at the BBC, or the Pretty Things Live at the BBC box set, along with Roadrunner. All right, we're kind of at the halfway mark of the show, and I'm going to do something a little different here. I had thought about creating entire sides of covers for a show, and this was actually harder than I thought it was going to be, and so I kind of gave up. But I gave up after completing one of these ideas, and so you are now going to hear the first side of the Replacements Pleased to Meet Me album, but they are all cover versions. These are other people doing those songs from a number of different tribute records. We're going to start off with a band called Cockeyed Ghost, and this is from the Left of the Dial, a pop tribute to the Replacements. Of course, first song on Pleased to Meet Me is I Owe You.